tablets and start sending in those messages, because Ifwa Harrison Owusu is here with Jay and I. Hi,
Yes,
Ifwa.
Hi, Aisha. Good evening.
Good evening. You're looking good as well.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, an ordinary Ghanaian.
You know, this is a joke. Most people would not understand because we went to a training session together and that question came up. Who is the ordinary Ghanaian?
But have you been lashed in school before?
Yes.
You have?
Oh, yes.
How did your parents take it?
Well, most times I didn't tell my parents, but
So
I think there was
know.
one time when I was in primary 4 that I felt that I was wrongfully lashed, and
So
I told my dad, and he went to the school
and warned them.
Yes, he warned the teacher.
We've all been lashed before, but these days, woe betides you to even touch your student. There you will see the legal battles.
Well,
so let's have what we have for Jay.
Okay, I'll tell you. We are talking about corporal punishment, and you know, in Ghana, sometimes it's said that foolishness is embedded in the heart of a child. Whip it out. And there's also sayings like spare the rod and spoil the child, and those are quotes from proponents of corporal punishment. Do you believe lashing children is the way to go, or are we being too modern? Also,
the teachers cane us instead of correcting us.
Also, how has radio influenced you, and how patriotic are you?
My honor to be said square motherland. I blame and say Miss Papua Ghana. Miss Arm and blame Miss Arm I.
I'm Ifwa Harrison, and you are watching the most interactive show. I'll be right back. Us via all our social media platforms. We're on facebook.com/Joy News on TV. Also find us on Twitter at Joy News on TV or at JN Interactive GH. You can also send us an email. It's joynewsim@multitvworld.com, or send your messages through on WhatsApp. The number is 054-010-9009. We are ready to share your views with the rest of the world. Now, people from the old school favor corporal punishment, and they are heavily disappointed when modern families devise ways of punishing students. Well, Christiana Owusu, a teacher from Wasasa in the Western region, is in trouble for meting out corporal punishment. She has been sentenced to a year in jail and has been fined 1,200 Ghana cedis. So what did she really do? Let's have a look.
GS has placed a ban on corporal punishment. I'm here at the St. Francis Xavier
And as you can see, that is teacher Christiana Owusu in the video there, stepping and stamping on 2 of her students. Now, the story is that they did not do their homework, and this is the punishment she decided to give them. Now, we are told that it's something she does regularly. This is how she punishes her students, and apparently a few of her colleagues told her not to punish them that way. So it was actually a colleague teacher who taped that video and brought it here to Multi TV. So that was the punishment given to children for failing to do their homework. Are teachers raising timid children because of corporal punishment? Well, the United Nations has recommended several times that Ghana should work on eliminating corporal punishment. The Ghana Education Service is working with professional caning or lashing of students. But what is professional caning? Lord Edu Asare has been finding out.
GS has placed a ban on corporal punishments. I'm here at the St. Francis Xavier Basic School, and I'm going to find out from the teachers how corporal punishment is meted out in a professional way. How do you cane them professionally?
Professionally is telling the headmistress, and the headmistress will log it, and then he will order me, the class teacher, to cane the child.
So it has got nothing to do with the style of caning the child?
Sometimes she will tell you either you should be at the child should be at assembly, to cane the child in assembly, or in my classroom, and you will tell me the number of strokes I should give it to the child. If 3 or whatever, then I'll give it to the child. That's what we normally do. Sometimes if the child does something wrong, we ask the child to go and scrub or go and sweep. I cane, you count for me. Once I cane, you count for me.
This is professional. I was going to be put on the table and lashed, but well, this is what the children go through every day. There's indeed a professional way of meting out corporal punishments, and not necessarily a professional caning, and I'm sure you saw it for yourself. My name is Lord Harris Asare.
So you saw Lord Edu Asare in the video over there, finding out what professional punishment or professional caning is. So how do the children themselves feel about caning?
How do you teachers for the Bimbo school term? We
have a lot of problems here. The teachers don't come on time. They cane us all the time. We can't voice out our problems because we will be caned.
Wobisa question now we need to correct you no the abanu mo edika bo ansa no correct.
The teachers cane us instead of correcting us.
Say or the abanu anytime you am the abanu back class. I'm the abanu back class as students so who abana.
Most of my classmates fear to answer questions in class. The canes put fear in us.
Tino nim cramp ani abanu mamu amu shake.
Okay.
Yeah, for teacher dear, a mistake there.
The teacher should correct us on 3 occasions before they use the canes, but our teachers cane us instead of correcting us. Most of my friends have left school because of this.
I may be crazy high school. Also,
I am a student of Aquedum Methodist Primary School, and the situation is same in my school. They cane us because they want us to learn.
And that's an interview Joy News' Francisca Ablade Souza had with some children from the Aquedum LA school. Now, let's speak to psychologist Riafe Akenteng. Welcome to Joy News Interactive.
Thank you and for inviting.
You're welcome. Now, many Ghanaians believe corporal punishment is necessary. But how does corporal punishment affect young people?
Corporal punishment affects young people in several ways. One, it instills some form of fear and negative anger and passion towards the one who administered the punishment. The fear angle is that if you are in the habit of beating me at the least mistake I make, then anytime I see you, in psychology there's something we call an association. There's an association between you and the pain I go through. So anytime I see you, I have some fear. 2, it can also make children timid. And it can also harm them physically and psychologically.
Okay, so with those examples you have cited, causing fear, making children timid, I guess corporal punishment is not the best way then to discipline children.
That is my view, because there are several other ways by which children can be punished.
What are they?
And before that, let me just quickly say that the essence of punishment is to correct, is to reform. These are young people, so sometimes some of the things they do, even though some may be deliberate, others may not. They may not know that even what they are doing is wrong. So it's up to the teachers who have been trained in how to handle teenagers to talk to them. The first way to go about this is to explain to the child what he or she has done wrong and what alternative is available. Then on that basis, some other punishment can be meted out. And I know that in the Ghana Education Service, they have some protocol of punishment as to if the child does this, then there's this minimum of punishment you are supposed to administer. Corporal punishment comes as the last resort, and even that they have specified who should do that, and after that it must be recorded. So it's not something that must be done on a regular basis, because there are several other options that are even more effective.
But people could argue that, you know, there are some children, some students who are really stubborn and so need to be caned. Like that quote that the foolishness needs to be, you know, taken out of the child. I said people could argue that there are some children who are so stubborn that the only way to actually discipline them is to beat them.
I don't agree with you that is the only way. I agree that some children can be extremely stubborn. But if you use punishment, there's a tendency that they even become more stubborn. Let me give you an example. This child knows that for me, I'll be beaten. And therefore, before he gets to school, if he's a male, he's going to load, wear a number of shorts and other singlets and all that. He will be prepared physiologically, psychologically for the kid. And that will not reform the child.
All right. So you are saying the best way to reform a child is to talk to the children and explain to them what they have done wrong. Exactly.
At that age, they understand language, they comprehend language. You can run them through logical reasoning, tell them what they've done wrong, what effect it will have on them and other people in the larger society.
All right.
What is the alternative? And that if they don't stop that, what will be the consequence in future? If you tell them this, they are more likely to go by it.
All right. Thank you very much. Dr. Riafe Akinting is a psychologist. Well, I'll be right back with your comments on social media. Welcome back to Joy News Interactive with me, Ifwa Akwa Harrison. We have been talking corporal punishment on the back of a video we showed you of how a teacher stepped on two of her students as punishment because they did not do their homework. So corporal punishment, is it necessary? Some people think it is. Psychologists are saying it's not the best form of punishment, and we'll try and take your views on the issue later. But now, moving on, young people took over Joy FM today, World Radio Day. From the Super Morning Show down to Top Story, children wowed Joy FM listeners.
February 13th is World Radio Day, a day set aside by UNESCO to celebrate radio and its personalities. This year, the theme for the day is Radio and Youth, and Joy FM, the #1 radio station in the country, gave its platform to a number of youths to experience radio. And I'm standing right in front of the station, so let's go inside and find out what's going on. It's 9:30 in the morning at the Joy FM's newsroom, and Joanna Atta is preparing for the 10 a.m. headline news on Joy FM.
We'll pay all outstanding arrears to health facilities by next week. There are concerns that the NHIA would only pay part of the debts, but Volta Regional Director of Health Services.
Joanna is a second-year political and French student at the University of Ghana, Legon.
As soon as I got here, Fifi told me he was preparing my bulletin. So I waited a little, and when it was ready, I went and he took me through how to pronounce the words and how to go through it smoothly without taking pauses. Yes, and then after that, he just told me to relax.
Now, Joanna is set to go on air.
Joy headline news at 10 coming up. NHIA commits to pay arrears to health facilities across the country following threats by Ghana Health Service to return to cash and carry. DVLA to prosecute officials found issuing licenses to unqualified applicants. Media Foundation for West Africa raises fears government interconnect clearinghouse system could be used to spy on citizens. My name is Joanna Ayata. The details now.
This is her first time of presenting a program on radio, and she tells us the experience.
It was awesome. It was a great opportunity. I'm really glad I had this opportunity.
So what do you think about World Radio Day?
I think it's a really awesome way to introduce the youth to the radio because we are the future leaders. We'll be doing it eventually. So it's a really great way to introduce us to it.
Joanna was not the only one. 15-year-old Maureen Tre from Achimota Senior High School hosted Ghana's most influential breakfast show, the Super Morning Show. She was assisted by Eric Vonde from University of Cape Coast, Albert Kofi Kunedu from IPMC, Edubia Asante Apiedu and Vanessa Planch, both from the Christ the King International School.
A report by Joy News' Adelaide Denti. Catch details in news at Primetime News, Joy Prime. Now, World Radio Day was also trending. Lord Edu Asare has more.
Friday the 13th of February is World Radio Day, and it's been trending the whole day on social media. Let's take some of your tweets on Twitter. The first one is coming from John Williams. 65 radio journalists killed in last 2 years. Not soldiers, targets, or bargaining chips held for ransom. Hashtag World Radio Day. And the next is from Plan Egypt. Radios are everywhere. At least 75% of households in developing countries have access to one. Hashtag World Radio Day. Very true. And this is Janine Gorg. Hope I got it right. Today is World Radio Day. Support the media. Encourage youth in the media. So true. Thank you. Thank you, Janine. And this is Eva. It's on the radio where I first listened to the Beatles. It's through the radio they send their music to conquer the world. Hashtag World Radio Day. And this is Only Sandro. Today is World Radio Day. Oh, and it's Friday the 13th. Cool. I know, right? Very cool. Right, so those were some of the tweets about World Radio Day. Personally, radio has really changed my life. Listening to radio has educated me. I've learned lots of history, lots of character building. Basically, education, It's not only school that you get to be educated. When you listen to radio, good radio programs, you get to learn lots of stuff. A4, tell us your experience. This has been What's Trending. My name is Lord Harry Sidosari.
Lord, my experience goes back, way back, but I'll tell you about that later. Let me just quickly read a few of your comments coming through on our Facebook page on corporal punishment. Junior loves, we've been asking about corporal punishment and what you think, or what you think determines professional caning. Okay, so let's just take a few of your comments. Junior Loves Camry says, clearly, with all due respect, caning professionally? Come on, this is the 21st century, and as such, we have come a long way. So basically, caning must cease, be it professional or otherwise. In as much as we also take a cue from the Bible that spare the rod and spoil the child, we must also not lose sight of the fact that using the rod always does not make the spoil. So in a nutshell, I think weeding, scrubbing, washing, and work that students may not readily love to do again should be the option. So that's from Junior Loves Camry. Kwesi Gate is saying, you are just being idealistic. Most parents discipline their kids with the cane, and as such, that is the only punishment they know. If you have ever been in a typical Ghanaian elementary classroom, you will realize the sight of the cane alone brings order. And Atarigi Gilbert Asylum from Bogatanga says, what is professional about punishment? In my opinion, punishment should always be of benefit to the entire school and not directly the teacher in question. For instance, you can punish the student to sweep the compound, clean the board for 3 days, fetch water, etc. Direct physical pain inflicted on pupils is what we are all kicking against. And so those are just a few of your comments coming through on social media about corporal punishment. Let's quickly take a look at the video of the day. Is back in the studio. Aisha, you know, I hear that's an aspiring assemblyman. I'm not sure which community that is, but he's an aspiring assemblyman.
The one was riding on the motorbike.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And if you've been watching...
I heard him rap.
Yeah, if you've been watching the channel, you would see a soundbite of him that we have.
He was rapping.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was...
Maybe he should apply for the Ghana Music Awards or something.
Maybe. And did the young lady say her grandmother
I don't want to
something? The national pledge. Anyway, that's all time will allow us for this evening. Happy Valentine's Day in advance.
Happy Valentine's Day to you. Enjoy in moderation.
Yes.
My name is Aisha Brian.
And my name is Ifwa Akwa Harrison. Have a good evening.
Great day.